Hello and welcome. This is Oliver Velez coming to you with another chart lesson. We're going to revisit crude oil, which is a commodity that has been exceptionally rewarding to us. This commodity has generated a great deal of profitability over the past several months, and I believe it has the potential to move even higher over time. However, note how crude oil has revisited a former high from which there was a relatively sharp drop to the downside. I call these points points of memory. Memory is built into the market on the positive side and the negative side. This is a memory point that builds a negative memory. This is a point at which the market builds negative memory when a sharp drop occurs, leading one to believe that any individual who got into crude oil in the $85 area obviously experienced pain. Now, this pain builds a negative memory based on a negative experience, which typically accelerates or brings in a healthy degree of selling once a financial instrument revisits such a spot or area. Now think about this. If you bought crude oil around $85 and immediately experienced this pain, if you were one of the ones who blindly held on, once crude oil revisits the area at which you initiated your play, in other words, once you got all of your money back, what would you likely do? What would you be itching to do? To basically, in a very big way, relieve yourself of this headache that you've experienced over the past several months, and that would be obviously to sell. All right, so when we revisit points at which we know people got hurt because of a very sharp drop. Now, people aren't necessarily hurt if there's a gradual, easy decline to the downside. They're hurt if there's a sharp, sudden drop. This sharp, sudden drop tells us that this point will likely lead to a pullback of some type. Additional selling by those who want their money back. Now, how crude oil handles that additional pullback will be the key to whether or not it needs an extended rest, or whether or not that pullback simply going to be one step back for another 5 steps forward. So we have to see how the pullback is handled. Does it happen in a very dramatic way to the downside? Does it happen in a very gradual way to the downside? And when that pullback is finally finished, or when it starts to show signs that buyers are stepping back in, how strong do those buyers step back in? Do we get bull elephant bars that develop? Do we get strong bottoming tail bars that develop? Do we get spikes in interest? So the pullback is going to be key in crude oil. I do believe that over time we will see this commodity higher, but the next several weeks is going to be interesting. Let's watch it very carefully. And again, the next pullback is going to be our key. More on this to come.